Obviously, we've had a few days since the Arkansas Little Rock game. Good few days of practice, and look forward to playing again on Friday, kind of our last time to evaluate our team prior to the opener against Rice. So just looking forward to another, form of competition. And then we got a long stretch of 11 days between this game and our opener. So we're going to have 11 days of really, really good practice leading up to the home opener.
After watching film, what were your main takeaways from that last game?
Main takeaway is probably the same that you had. We need to rebound the ball better. We need to stay out of foul trouble. And then the turnovers, and some of the things are, rebounding was a concern, last year, and turnovers were a concern last year, and they're still a concern. So we just need to try to figure out how to get a little bit better defensive rebounding. We need to try to figure out, how to value the basketball a little bit more than we have. Those two areas in particular, and then obviously our second unit did not play as well as the starting unit. So we want to try to get more productivity out of our bench than we did last Sunday. And then the foul trouble, it was, systematically at Nevada, we were an extremely low turnover team, took care of the basketball as well as really any team in the country the last 2 years with different guards involved. And we very, very, very rarely in 4 years ever got in foul trouble. So we'll just have to keep, those are two areas that, we have not had much trouble with, but so far we have had some trouble with here.
Is that the style of play with these guys getting used to your system, or what do you think that is, what the cause of that is?
I mean, the turnovers are, it's been a product of two different systems now. So, we just have some players that need to value the basketball better. And then rebounding been an issue for, we've kind of gone back a really long time, and you look at the rebounding numbers over an extended period of time. Rebounding's got to get better. We have to, we're smaller now, so it's, to rebound, like last year's, that we need to rebound better than that, and we don't have Daniel, so it's going to have to collectively. We're trying to come up with different, ways, that we can do that. Do we tell our team that, hey, can we win the rebound battle at 3 of the 5 positions on the floor? So we're still trying to tinker with some different motivation / statistic ways that we can, instead of just, obviously we're going to have to rebound collectively, and, can we out-rebound the point guards every night between Jimmy and Jalen? Can we do that at the off guard? Can we do that at the small forward? And then try to hold our own at the 4 or 5. Those are some of the formulas that we're trying to come up with from a rebounding standpoint.
Mason was one of those guys you talked about on Sunday when you talk about foul trouble and then turning the ball over. Has he responded in this short amount of time, or have you challenged him about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, he'd probably love to talk about how we've challenged him. But he's had really good practices since Sunday. It's been his best week by far of practice, dating back to, even when I first got the job, so whatever, 6.5 months or whatever it's been. This short stretch between Sunday and right now have been his best practices. So hopefully it'll carry over into the game.
You said after the game the other day that you'd had real physical practices, maybe that carried over into the game and the foul issues. So do you kind of, pull back a little bit on the aggression, or how do you sort of?
Yeah, I think now from a physical standpoint, now we've been in some game, one game competition. We understand the fouling, but I also think, off the bench is really where it was. The starters really didn't. It was really 2 or 3 guys. In particular in the short extended minutes that they got, where the foul trouble occurred. So just keep talking about it, showing them film of it. Hopefully it'll carry over.
Reggie got like 2 real quick fouls, and you took him out, put him back, and they got another quick one. Obviously, he's a guy you need on the court for a fair amount of minutes. Kind of what are you seeing from Reggie trying to clean that up?
Yeah, I think with a lot of teams, like if you just look historically, the first week of the NBA season, there's a lot of fouls called. First week, 2 weeks of college basketball, it's the same thing, and then it kind of starts evening out as the players adjust to the refs, and the refs start, because there's always points of emphasis every year with the referees, and that takes a little bit of getting used to with the players. And but yeah, we got to defend without fouling and defend without grabbing jerseys, and a lot of that too is, you go through 7 months of practice and you don't have a referee in the gym. And then all of a sudden you put 3 referees out there, and so it was an adjustment for our guys for sure.
Adrian didn't take a lot of shots. He was pretty efficient. I think he was 2 of 2, 4 of 4. What'd you think of his game?
I thought Adrian played really well. He played within himself. He did exactly what we asked. He was really good on dribble handoffs. He was really good on throw-in chases where he caught the ball at the top of the key and swung it to one of our guards, either left wing or right wing, and chased that into a pick and roll. If he can play out on the floor and space the floor with his passing, his dribble handoffs, and his ability to dribble drive against maybe bigger, slower guys, that'll certainly make our offense flow a lot better.
What did you like about the chemistry you saw with some of the guys and the combinations you had on the floor with so many new pieces and finally being able to see it in a game?
Yeah, I thought that the first unit, just the first 5 minutes of the game and the first 5 minutes in the second half, I thought they were outstanding from a defensive intensity standpoint. Defensive pick and rolls, we did a great job of hard showing / trapping the ball handlers in pick and rolls. Middle of the game, we went to a little bit more switching because we wanted to try to kind of figure out which of those 3 pick and roll coverages worked best and where we could watch film and try to improve on. But I just thought that that first unit did such an incredible job of clicking on both sides of the ball. I thought they really, really executed offensively. We've added a lot of half-court sets, kind of specialty NBA-type sets that take about 12 to 15 seconds to kind of develop instead of a traditional college set, which takes sometimes 20 seconds or more to develop. But they did a great job executing. That was probably the area that our staff was most surprised with the number of sets. We kind of thought we'd look a little bit sloppier with the ball because out of our 18 turnovers, we counted 14 turnovers of the 18 were unforced, meaning they were all on us. Either poor decision-making, poor spacing, or just poor ball handling. If it would be one thing if we felt like, out of the 18 turnovers, the other team was causing them, then we'd have to try to figure out why. But they were unforced turnovers, which a lot of it could be, we're hoping, is just that it was early in the season.
What did you think of Jimmy's game after watching the film? Jimmy Witt?
Thought he was really good. Jimmy Witt did a great job, obviously rebounding the ball. We feel like he's one of the best rebounding point guards in the entire country. Thought his ball distribution was great. Thought he got us in and out of our sets really well. I thought late shot clock, which we didn't have many late clock situations, but I thought he got the ball on kickouts to the right people. And then defensively, he's kind of the head of the snake, so to speak, defensively for us. And I thought he gave a really good perception visually as the other 4 guys were watching his pickup point, his intensity, where he shaded the ball to in a half court defensively. I thought he did everything the way that we wanted him to do.
I think Jalen only took 1 3. So I guess that's a small sample size, but he hit it.
Yeah.
I mean, how good was that to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think, J5 did he's made shots. I've kind of said it behind closed doors, and we feel like his jump shots really improved. He's a selective shooter. Both he and Jimmy are not guys that are high volume perimeter shooters. Neither one of them will be. But as long as they can make enough to keep the defense honest, and we certainly think right now that Jalen has a little bit more confidence than he had last year maybe from a shooting perspective.
He left the game early the other night, but what did you like about him? Maybe in the first half he looked pretty effective.
Thought he did a really good job of mixing up 3-point shots along with putting the ball on the deck. Obviously his 3-point shooting is his greatest asset and a part of his game that we really need him to contribute. But again, I thought he did a good job putting the ball on the deck as well. Actually, he put the ball on the ground a little bit more, even so, than what he has in practices. So I thought he mixed up. When he had the ball in his hands, he did a good job trying to confuse the defense a little bit instead of just relying solely on his three-point shot.
Ask a couple things about Earl Boykins, if I could. How's he fitting into your staff? And I guess that year after he had a good year with you at the Warriors, he had 5 short-term contracts. Then he signed a nice big contract with Denver. And I talked to him the other day. He gave you a lot. He basically said most guys wouldn't have the confidence to play a 5'5" guy in a closer role. What did you see in him that maybe other people didn't? And just how's he fitting in with your staff?
Well, 2 things with Earl. One, the gear that I now get has been cut in half because he wears the same size I wear. So I've lost out a lot of dry fits and hoodies because Earl can wear them. 2, he never gave me any portion of his contract that he got. But Earl is one of the most unique players in the history of the NBA. And I was with him as an assistant actually in Orlando. He's from Cleveland. I grew up in Cleveland when my dad was coaching the Cavs, so I've known about him or mutual friends since I was even in high school. But the big thing with Earl, when we picked him up in Golden State, we needed a point guard. I'll never forget it. We picked him up. He flew to the Bay Area, took a physical. We flew as a team to Denver. And that first game, I played him like 27 minutes or something, and he played the entire fourth quarter. He's got high basketball IQ. I think he's, great for me because he's a former player. He sees things through a lens that I don't see, which is awesome. He sees the game through a different lens than all of our assistant coaches. So when we're in staff meetings, Earl Boykins gives us a whole different thought process. I think he really wants to. He's pro player, so when we're talking in meetings, he's always looking at the bright side or a positive of each player as we go through our roster and ways to improve guys individually and then as well as collectively. But he had a great NBA career, and a lot of the reason he had a great NBA career is because of how professional he was. It wasn't just basketball. NBA coaches, NBA management, NBA players like to have him on their roster because of his professionalism. He was a great teammate and a great leader on all those teams he played with, and his reputation in the basketball world's phenomenal.
How do you see him or the players relate to him?
I mean, we showed film when the day we hired him and the first day that he got here, we showed our team clips of him because I don't know how many of them probably watched him play much. Probably some guys didn't know who he was. It was funny when he walked down the hall, walked in his office. I walked down the opposite way, and I heard the GAs all, talking about how short he was, and can you believe he really played in the NBA? But I think he's going to be a real huge asset to the staff and all of us really, because just another guy in our building, and even recruiting wise, he has nothing to do with recruiting, but certainly when someone comes on campus, can be a part of our visits, and I think that's important as well.
What do you see from Southwestern Oklahoma State?
I'm really worried about our team, to be honest with you. Our assistants have watched a lot. They like to run and jump. They play a little bit of matchup zone. They'll press a little bit. So, philosophically, this has probably been the least that we've ever prepped for a particular team, because I think it's important that we continue to work on who we are and try to get ready for these non-conference games. So we've kind of taken the approach this week, maybe a little bit more than Arkansas, Little Rock. We're taking, because we scouted Little Rock, pretty heavily because we had played them at Nevada and we knew some of the stuff that Coach Walker likes to do. And with this game, I'm a little bit more concerned with how we do things and our own execution, and trying to continue to figure out different combinations and play different guys in different spots, and maybe experiment a little bit more than we did in the first exhibition.
With how well that first group played, do you kind of force other combinations of groups Friday because that is a chance to kind of tinker with it?
Yeah, I mean, we might even change the starting lineup just to, because again, it's kind of the last time we can do that. So we're still trying to, decide exactly what we want to do. Do we want to continue the momentum that we had off of Little Rock, or more importantly, do we put somebody else in that lineup and see how that goes? And so, all this stuff is we're still trying to put the pieces together. It's so early. But, we want to continue to build confidence and a little bit of momentum as well.
I don't guess there's any update on Vanover at this point.
No, my daughter asks every day at breakfast, no update.
I'm gonna guess your wife did this, but when you guys hired Earl, your daughter tweeted out that my dad just wanted to hire somebody that was shorter than I was, or he is. I assume you saw that.
Yes.
I assume that was your wife.
No, that's actually Mariah.
Really?
Yeah, some way, shape, or form. She's pretty social media savvy, and I don't know why, but I think she takes a phone to school sometimes too. So we might have to make an adjustment on that.
Did you think that was funny, I guess, or what did you think of that?
I mean, she likes to make fun of me, and I thought it was pretty funny. I don't think Earl took offense to it. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.